what was it like that first time they read this text? If I were to pick, most students, even I taught in middle school and high school, they have a hard time just having any idea what he's talking about. Tell me about that first time that they read it.
Well, going into this, I knew that Patrick Henry's speech, I knew that Common Core asked for complex text, but I knew even so that Patrick Henry's speech was going to be way more complex than what the Common Core expected at 4th grade. So I knew that there needed to be some scaffolding in place in order to access this text, especially for the first time. So the students had a copy of the text in their hand to follow along, and we accessed a link online where someone is replicating his speech.
With the full emotion.
With the full emotion. And so they were able to listen to that and follow along as they were listening.
So then what happens after they listen? Silence?
Awkward. Like really.
Why was it awkward?
For me, I, as a teacher, have always felt like I needed to tell the kids all everything because I am the teacher. And that's not what this is supposed to be. We are supposed to allow the children to look at this, think it through, and give their initial thoughts and ideas about what does this make you think about? What do you think that he's trying to say here? And that was very hard. I think we both talked about, we got silence for a minute or two anyway.
And I found a lot of times, I think this age child is afraid to be wrong.
Yes.
And you didn't want to, you know.
A lot of adults as well.
Yes. Right. And you did, you know, and they just would sit there, and I found it was helpful to let them share with a partner maybe to begin with. You know, turn and talk to your partner. Turn and talk to someone sitting next to you. What do you feel? What do you think Patrick Henry was feeling as he said this? Did you hear anything, any emotion? Did you hear anything in the speech that maybe made you think about what was going on at with our country at this time, with the colonies at this time?
When there would be once they started talking, you can't hardly get them to stop.
Right,
but when they kind of would, there would be a little bit of a lull. We'd give them another maybe guiding question, like she was just talking about. We would kind of say, "Hey, but what about this?" And then they would kind of talk some more, and then share with their partner, and then share with the group.
Or maybe ask, "What did you notice? And how did that make you feel?" And I know
what did you notice? How did that make you feel?
Yes, and you know that I was pretty amazed the first time that we listened to it, the first time ever in Miss Walker's room. The kids, there really wasn't silence. They turned and talked because I did say, "Okay, what are your thoughts about his speech? How did it make you feel? What did you notice as you listened and read along?" And they turned and talked about it, and they were like, "Wow, you know, I mean." He got really, like his voice got louder and he grew more they said aggressive. I think they meant to say passionate, but they used the word aggressive in his speech.
So they were using the audio to latch on. Because maybe they didn't get all the words, but they were getting a sense of it from the audio, which is really it is a speech. So it makes sense to listen to it as a speech. What were all some of the other things that they talked about in that initial conversation? Because I'm just, you know, they don't know anything about it, so what are they saying?
Well, we had given them they had gotten background knowledge in their social studies class about a little bit about Patrick Henry and the state of America and all of that. So that kind of helped them understand and have something to discuss because we built on prior knowledge, their schema that they already had.
Okay.
So.
And we had discussed, you know, give me liberty or give me death, his famous quote.
Right.
You know, and we had talked about that a little bit, but not in the context of his speech.
Right.
So that kind of gave them something to hook into also the ending, the passionate ending. And I think that they felt familiar with that also.
Building that prior knowledge is so important
Very
to
much.
that background. So what we'll do in our next clip is we'll look at how they broke it down paragraph by paragraph and what strategies you used.